Hello again, welcome. Are you there? Oh yeah, welcome. Class 174. Are you ready? I'm speaking to you in the past tense constantly. I am manoseando el idioma. Really, for you. Te estoy cubriendo el idioma inglés. Normally the present tense and the past tense and sometimes in the future, continuously, so that you become so familiar with the English language that it just is pan comido. It's a piece of cake. So because I'm going to cover you with English, con una vaselina, I'm going to cover you with the English language completely. All right. Whose car did you drive yesterday? I drove, lo que dije ayer, I drove Marta's car. Marta has a Bugatti, and so I drove it. So I drove a Bugatti for the first time in my life yesterday. Yes. And when was the first time you drove a car? The first time I drove a car was when I was 15. Yes, I drove a car when I was 15. And what kind of car did you drive? I drove a Buick Wildcat, Buick, my mother's car. When you were 15, yeah. I got a special permit to drive when I was 15 and a half. So I took driving classes before I was 15 and a half. And why did you get a special permit? I got a special permit because my mother was disabled. Your mother was what? My mother was disabled. I don't understand. What does disabled mean? Excuse me? What does disabled mean? How do you say disabled in Spanish? Incapacitada. Oh, discapacitada. Well, incapacitada, temporal. My mother had an operation and she couldn't drive. And in the United States, if you don't have a car, it's almost impossible to do anything. And so I got a special permit to drive with my mother. I couldn't drive by myself, but with my mother, yes, at the age of 15 and a half. And her car was a Buick, a Buick Wildcat, gato salvaje, Wildcat. And so I drove. So the first car I drove was a Buick. The second car I drove was also a Buick. The third car I drove was an Opel. And the fourth car I drove was a Plymouth Chrysler. All right, why did Pepe lead the meeting? Esto dice aquí, eh? This is page 187. Why did Pepe lead the meeting? To lead is dirigir, pero también es guiar o liderar. Aquí el líder soy yo. I'm the leader. I will lead you. Yes, I have a flute, like the flautista de Hamelin, right? The Pied Piper, and you follow me. I will lead you. I lead, you follow. Yeah, I will lead you to the promised land with English. I'll lead you to a safe haven. Safe haven es un puerto seguro. I'll lead you to the promised land with English. So you need to follow me. Why did Pepe lead the meeting? He led the meeting because Paco was ill, dice aquí. All right. Every month I lead a meeting. Last month I led one meeting. The month before last, I led 2 meetings. Lead, led, led. Lead, led, led. Y led se escribe L-E-D. 3 letters. 3 letters. Es muy confuso el inglés con este verbo. People make mistakes. Even native people make mistakes. The infinitive is lead, como líder, un líder, lead, lead, y se pronuncia lead. The past tense and the participle are led, 3 letters, L-E-D. Now, there's another word which means plomo, which is lead. and it's spelled the same as lead, the infinitive. So many people, including natives, make a mistake and write the past tense like plomo, L-E-A-D, lead, lead. This microphone isn't made of lead. Lead is very heavy, el plomo. Yes, de hecho tan pesado que dices que plomo. Este profe es un plomo. Lead. But the past tense of lead is lead con tres letras, L-E-D. Yes. Napoleon led his troops into battle. Led, led. Genghis Khan, led his hordes, sus hordas, into battle. All right, led. How much money did you lend her? I lent her. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. Well, try me. I lent her €250,000. You what? I don't believe it. I told you you weren't going to believe me. Fíjate, es el reported speech. No me vas a creer. You say, bueno, ponme a prueba. You're not going to believe me. Well, try me. I lent her $250,000. I don't believe it. ¿Ves? Te dije que no me ibas a creer. I told you you weren't going. En la afirmación directa, you aren't going. En el presente, you aren't going to believe me. ¿Ves? You see? You see, I told you you weren't. Cambiamos a weren't. I told you, en español cambiáis a iba. Te dije que no ibas a creerme. I told you you weren't going to believe me. Why did you lend her $250,000? Because she promised to pay me back. Yeah, great. Did she pay you back? Yeah. She paid me back in full. Really? When did she pay you back? She paid me back 3 weeks ago. Okay. But when did you lend her the money? I lent it to her. Lent it, mucha te aquí. I lent it to her. I lent her the money last year. Okay. And she paid you back 3 weeks ago? Yeah, that's right. In full. In full. All the money. Plus interest. Really? Did you charge her interest? Yeah, I charged her interest. Wow. Did you formalize the loan? El préstamo. Yes, I formalized the loan in a notary. I didn't lend her money under the table. I didn't lend it to her under the table. I lent it to her. I lent her the money officially, legally, with a notary and an interest rate. Really? What was the interest rate? 15%. 15%? Yeah. My God, you're a loan shark, Richard. Yo soy un tiburón de prestamista. Se dice a loan shark. Well, that's my job. I have 2 jobs. I'm an English teacher and a loan shark. No, I don't believe it. Well, but she paid me back in full. Yeah. And if she didn't pay you back, what would you do? I will call my good friend Rocky. Yeah, and he will convince her to pay me back, maybe. I say, how much money did you lend her? I lent her, aquí dice $20. I lent her $20. When did you speak to your boss? I didn't speak to him. Darling. Yes, darling. Did you speak to your boss yesterday? Or no, I didn't. You told me you were going to speak to your boss about a raise. Por cierto, los británicos dicen a rise. Una subida de sueldo. In Great Britain and Ireland, a rise, escrito rise. In American, raíce, pronunciado raise. But darling, you told me you were going to ask your boss for a raise. Did you speak to him? Yes, I spoke to him. And what did he say? Well, I didn't speak to him about money. What did you speak to him about? I spoke to him about our vacation this summer. But fine, But why didn't you speak to him about money? I didn't speak to him about the money because I spoke to him about the vacation. All right. To speak, spoke. I spoke to you yesterday about Akimorita. You remember? I also spoke to you yesterday. No, I didn't. I didn't speak to you yesterday about Akimorita. I spoke to you about him the day before yesterday. You remember? And do you remember that Aki's boss spoke to Aki about Louisiana? And then Aki went home and he spoke to his wife. Excuse me, Richard. Aki didn't speak to his wife. Well, he didn't speak to his wife on Friday night. He spoke to his wife on Saturday. Oh. Yes. And did he speak to his wife in Japanese or in English? Well, his wife doesn't speak English. So logically, Aki spoke to his wife in Japanese, and he spoke to her on Saturday. Yes. And what did he say? That's in unit 23, I think, or 24. For the moment, I'm not going. For now, por ahora y por el momento, for now, for the moment, for the time being, I'm not going to tell you. Pero me dijiste que me lo ibas a decir. Me dijiste que me lo ibas a decir. You told me you were going to tell me. I told you I was going to tell you? Yes, you told me you were going to tell me. I didn't tell you I was going to tell you. Parece redundante. No te dije que te lo iba a decir. Te lo iba a contar. I didn't tell you I was going to tell you. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. I told you I was going to tell you in unit 23 or 24. Not now. So for now, you don't know. The mystery, we don't know. Okay, when did you speak to your boss? I spoke to him last Friday. Where did you throw the coin? I threw the coin. Donde lo tiré? I threw the coin in the fountain. 3 coins in a fountain. La Fontana de Trevi. The Trevi Fountain in Rome. Yes. Did you go to Rome last year? Yes, I did. I went to Rome last year. Did you visit the Trevi Fountain? Yes, I did. Yeah. I visited, tercera columna, I visited the Trevi Fountain. Every day I was in Rome. Really? Yeah. And did you throw a coin into the fountain? Yes, every day I threw a coin in the fountain. Wow. And the year before, every year I go to Rome, and every day while I'm in Rome, I throw coins into the fountain. Wow. There are a lot of coins from you in the fountain, yeah. Yeah, but my wishes don't come true. Yeah. Last year I threw 5 coins into the fountain. The year before that I threw probably 10 coins into the fountain. Yes. But, do you always make a wish? Yes, I always make a wish. En español se dice pedir un deseo. En inglés se dice hacer un deseo. I always make a wish. But my wishes never come true. Curiosa forma en inglés. Hacerse realidad se dice venir verdadero o venir verdad, to come true. My wishes never come true. But I'm going to continue making wishes and throwing coins into the Trevi Fountain. All right, to throw. You remember about 4 days ago I threw a pencil to Marta. You remember? I threw a pencil to you. Toma. I threw you a pencil, but you didn't catch it. You remember? How many pencils did I throw to you the other day? I think I threw 5 pencils or 6, 5 or 6 pencils. Yeah. And I threw them to you, but you didn't catch them. And poor Marta had to pick up the pencils. Yeah. So because you didn't catch them. Next time, catch the pencils, okay? If I throw you a pencil tomorrow, we'll try to catch it. Try to catch it. All right. When did you set your alarm clock? I didn't set it. Why? Last night, I didn't set my alarm clock. And why didn't you set your alarm clock? Don't laugh. ¿Cómo? I'm going to tell you why, but don't laugh. Do you promise not to laugh? To be or not to be? To laugh or not to laugh? Es el negativo del infinitivo. ¿Prometes no reírte de mí? Do you promise not to laugh at me? I didn't set, no fije el despertador, mi alarma on the telephone. I didn't set the alarm last night. Do you want to know why? Yes, I'm dying to know why. Me muero por saber por qué. I'm dying to know why. But do you promise me something? What? Do you promise not to laugh? All right, I promise not to laugh. All right. I made a decision. Congratulations. What decision did you make? I made a decision to move the coffee maker from the kitchen to my bathroom. To your bathroom. Yeah, you see, in my bedroom, I have an adjoining bathroom. Yeah, and the door is right next to the bed. It's very close. So I decided to move the coffee maker. You see, I have an automatic coffee maker. I set the coffee maker, and it starts making the coffee at 5:35 in the morning. You understand? Yeah. And it starts making noise. And it starts making coffee. And in the kitchen, I can't hear it. But if it's in my bathroom, next to me practically, I can hear it. And it wakes me up softly with the aroma of coffee. La da 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 da. My coffee maker making me a coffee. My coffee maker. And so I wake up in a very soft, very nice, very pleasant way. And say, oh, a new day. Ah, I'm ready to conquer the world. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. So, yeah, are you laughing? Do you think I'm a little crazy? Well, life is too short not to be crazy sometimes. All right. So I didn't set my alarm clock last night, but I set the coffee maker. Yes, I loaded the coffee with the filter, the coffee, and the water, and I pushed the button. I checked 5:35 in the morning. It's just 5:35 in the morning. And it makes enough noise, not much, but it makes enough noise to wake me up. And the smell, yeah, I rise and float from the bed with the aroma of the coffee. All right, try it. No, Richard, you're crazy. You see, you're laughing. You promised me that you weren't going to laugh. Me prometiste que no ibas a reírte. You promised me that you weren't going to laugh. And now you're laughing. All right. So, which tie did you choose? ¿Qué corbata elegí? Well, this morning I didn't choose any tie, but yesterday I went to a cocktail party. Yes. And it was a semi-formal cocktail party. And I had to choose a tie. Yeah. Now I have about 20 ties. I chose a blue tie. Why did you choose a blue tie? Well, why not? I chose a blue tie because I wanted to wear a blue tie. No. Mistake. You should have chosen a red tie. No, I didn't want to choose a red tie. When was the last time you chose a red tie? The last time I chose a red tie was 5 years ago. But red ties are commanding. Oh, that's what they say. Yes. Which tie did you choose? I chose the red one. I chose. Every day I choose, yesterday I chose. How much did the company grow last year? This company grew 5% last year. How much did you grow last year, Richard? I didn't grow last year. How much did your two granddaughters grow last year? They grew about 5 centimeters last year. They grew about 5 centimeters last year. How far did the athlete run yesterday? Excuse me. How far did the athlete run yesterday? How far, ¿qué? How far did the athlete run yesterday? Run. De correr, ¿no? Pero I don't understand in the middle. Could you speak more slowly, please? Repeat the question more slowly, please. All right. How far? Okay. ¿Cómo de lejos? ¿Cuán lejos? ¿Qué distancia? Fine. How far? Eso sí. How far did? Eso sí, es pregunta en el pasado, ¿no? Yes. How far did the athlete run? The what? The athlete. Athlete. What does athlete mean? No? Yeah, what does athlete mean? What does it mean? What does athlete mean? How do you say athlete in Spanish? Atleta? Oh. Se escribe atlete, con TH al principio. Athlete. Athlete. Oh, atleta. Yes. In British English, athletics is atletismo. In American English, atletismo is track and field. Pista y campo. In American English, athletics is cualquier actividad que exige ser atlético. An athlete. Leo Messi is an athlete. Rafa Nadal is an athlete. And Usain Bolt is an athlete too. And Larry Bird was an athlete, a very good athlete. All right. So how far did the athlete run? Wow, athlete. Jamás habría caído que es atleta. Athlete. Yes. Some words are very different. Like decathlon. So what? Decathlon. What's that? Decathlon. Anda. How do you say it? Decathlon. Horizon. Excuse me. Horizon. Horizon. No tengo ni idea. Horizonte. Ah, no es horizon. Horizon. Yeah, horizon. All right. So, how far did the athlete run yesterday? He ran 10 kilometers. He ran. Who ran this company last year? ¿Quién gestionó o gestionaba esta empresa el pasado año? Who ran this company? Me. I did. I ran this company last year. Yes. And who ran? Oh, here, I run the show here. Aquí mando yo. Sí, aquí dirijo yo el cotarro. I run the show here. And last week I ran the show. And from the beginning, in January, I ran the show here. I ran. Ran. Yes. When I was a teenager, I was an athlete in track and field. I was a sprinter, velocista. Sprint. I was a sprinter. And I ran the 100, 200, and 400 meters. When I was 17, I ran the 100 more often. When I was 18, I ran the 200 and 400, longer distances. I ran, and I ran very fast. In fact, my best time, I ran the 100, my best time, I ran, once I ran the 100 meters in 10.6. But there was a wind aided, there was a wind behind me. 10.6. My best 100 without wind behind me is 10.8. 10.8. The 100 meters. I ran the 200 meters in 21.9. That was my best time. I ran the 200 meters in 21.9. And I ran the 400 meters in 47.8, which is not bad. 47.8. 47 seconds and 0.8 of a second. Now it's interesting, on the 200 meters, this is many years ago, and they didn't have electronic starting. They had the gun and stopwatches. Stopwatch is cronómetro de bolsillo. And when you're watching, If you're at the finish line is la meta. If you're holding a watch at the finish line, the start of the 200 meters is on the opposite side of the track. And you're watching the man holding the gun. On your marks, get set. But you watch the smoke from the gun. When you see the smoke, you start the watch. Because half a second passes before you hear the gun because of the distance. So you need to remember this. Now everything is electronic. But before, you needed to watch the smoke coming from the gun. White smoke. Se cargaba a propósito para que saliera humo blanco. And so you watch, and you start timing. I ran the 200 meters in 21:9. That was my best time. And my best time, I ran the 400 meters in 47:8. That was my best time. Now I don't run anymore, but I ran a lot when I was young. See you tomorrow.